Hey, welcome in. Steve with Reef Reacher Fishing. Don't pay attention to what's going on back here in the studio. Um, the staff, they're off duty on vacation in the Bahamas right now. Um, thank you for tuning in. Again, Steve with Reef Reacher Fishing. Check out the other videos that I already have on some of these other vintage Penn reels. These are my favorite. The Spin Fishers, chrome handles, 1978. But at any rate, you can find me on Facebook at Steve Miller Reef Reacher. A lot of good stuff going on there. Getting close to 10,000 followers. I'm going to keep making videos. Been doing a lot of live stuff on Facebook, but thanks for tuning in. Going to try to start posting one video a week again, like I was. Today's video brought to you by Idiots or Us here at Reef Reacher Fishing, where we make everything absolutely as difficult as possible. Today, let's talk about this guy. Penn number 349. It's a 349H, but we are going to convert it to a Wahoo special. Carl Newell out in California. See the CN. Aluminum. Any rate, aftermarket parts. It took a reel that's essentially this wide and made it that much wider. These reels, these Master Mariners, were a deep sea trolling reel. This reel must weigh 7 pounds. This is lead core line. That's why they kept them narrow. Ironically enough, this is the same width as a 1/0 or a 110 Senator. Dual clutch. This one puts it in and out of free spool. You let line out. This one engages the adjustable star drag, or you can reel the handle backwards. I could do a week's worth of videos just on the different Mariners in the Mariner series. What is unique and what I want to point out, so many people don't see this, and I don't know why. Okay, this is the bridge. What are you looking at me for, guys? Okay. This is the bridge out of one of these, essentially. Okay. See the diameter? Okay, what I'm going to do is, this is out of a 9/0 or a 115. Okay, this is asbestos. See how thick they are? And this is a stainless replacement. Okay. These are the same size. The only difference is your gear sleeve. This is the 349, but it has the same drag as a 9/0. Here's another unique thing. And I like having physical examples here to show you rather than just tell you. This is the outside trim ring from a 9/0. It's broken. Don't over tighten your rings, guys. 28-115. Okay. Proof. Look at the size difference. You see that? They're this. I mean, come on. It's this. It's a 9/0 narrow, which is all the trend these days, making reels narrow. This is the gear and pinion out of a 9/0. This is the one out of a 349. Which one's bigger? This one has more teeth. The Mariners come in so many different varieties. I didn't want this so much to be about taking this apart and putting it back together, because you can see my other videos on stuff like that. I wanted this to be more on the history of the Mariners. And I've got a whole notebook full of notes. The number 49, or the Penn Mariner, 1937-ish, and it was a knuckle buster. It reeled forward and reeled backward. Then you had the 249, which had the shortest production run. It ended before 1941, so less than 4 years, okay? And that had a 3 times multiplier or a 2 time multiplier. They started having the dual clutch, okay? That allows you to reel forwards and backwards, okay? The only reason that's stopping is the line's tied off, okay? But it also allowed you to take it in and out of free spool, okay? So that's another thing that made these unique. The 349 I have written down 1958, came out in 4 versions, standard and high speed, with or without the star drag. This one we're working on now is a 349. It's an early version of the 349. It has the plug instead of the dual clutches. Or maybe it's a later version. I don't know. I shouldn't say that stuff. But at any rate, the reason we're here today is, I don't know if you can see, oh, don't fall. I don't know if you can see it. See that crack running right there? You can't see it. You can't see it from looking at the reel, but oil soaked through it. What's nuts is you can't find it. Do you see a crack? I don't see a crack. There is not a crack in there, but when you flip it over, okay, so the crack would be running from my thumb to my pinky, correct? See that? Pinky, thumb. So let's flip it over. So it would be running across this way, from my pinky to my thumb. And there's no stinking, I don't see no stinking cracks. At any rate, we're here because we're replacing this. But tell me that's not freaking strange. Anyway, so we got a new old stock one from our friends at Fish Grain on eBay. Let's put this stuff away. But yeah, the same diameter as a 9/0 drag, just narrower. I find that stuff fascinating. This is one of the drag washers. Okay, see how thin it is compared with the asbestos. So what I like to do is stack up the carbon fiber and stainless steel washers. But I don't have any of them right now. I find that really hard to believe. I buy a lot of drag washers. But any rate, let's start putting this guy together, and I'll do a little more splaining. These Master Mariners were used for rock cod and I guess lake trout and salmon. Come on, man. Why don't we just make this a little harder than it has to be? We're going to put you up there. But here's what came off of this reel originally, okay? Here's the rod clamp. This is the same diameter or the same width as a 110 Senator, a 1/0. If you look at an old 1/0, it'll say 30-49 on the rod stand, the reel stand. But this is the original one, and this is the clamp that's going to go on it now. See how much wider? I don't know how to show that. But that's how much wider it's going to be. And they call these a Wahoo special. Here's the posts and the original screws. Here's, and again, I bet that weighs almost 2 pounds, just the spool and the wire line. These were real popular in the Northeast, and I guess out west. Down in the Gulf of Mexico, I never saw them. I was surprised that I didn't see them with the commercial guys, the grouper diggers, as we call them, longline boats or bandit boats. But we just didn't see these out there. You can see how shiny this is. This has already been rebuilt. I needed to replace the plate. So we're going to go ahead and throw this guy back in. This is our spool. We're going to get some of our good stuff here. This is Corrosion X, extra heavy duty. It's like honey is the only way it's thicker than honey. It's like margarine, I guess would be a good thing to call it. Hold on, guys, I'm losing my lap. I don't know if some of you may not know I'm in a wheelchair, but I can kind of walk. I was paralyzed in 2020. Failed back surgery. Okay, now let's get this over with. Except we're missing a ring. Leave it to me. Oh. Okay. Here's our harness. And because this is so similar to a 9/0, I am going to, I can't do it on this video, but I am going to see how this goes in here. And what Newell did, they put these bars in, machined aluminum. Carl Newell was an aerospace engineer, kind of parts maker guy, and started making parts for Penn, upgrades for Penns, and then he just started making his own stuff. My kind of guy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a forward rod brace on this and strap it from the front, because that's what we're going to do. At any rate, let's get this thing together. I don't know what else to say about these other than they're just really kind of unique. Bear with me, guys. These rings are so temperamental on fitment. Oh. It's like pulling teeth, or worse. see if we can't just get one in here. Hold on, guys. I tell you what, try doing this stuff sitting down. It's so weird. I guess nothing is ever what you think it's going to be, but being paralyzed is not what I thought it was going to. Oh, look at there. I think we got one. Okay. Let's get one back here. Then try doing it sitting in a chair left-handed backwards so that your viewers can see. Come on, baby. There we go. Hold on, guys. Stop complaining. If you think this is hard to watch, you should try doing it. All right. So there we go. We're going to get this one in. I put one in, you know, like your pit crew on an Indy car. You just go across and across and across. Now, Senators have longer screws on the A side than they do on the B side. So pay attention to that. Don't forget to look me up on Facebook, Steve Miller Reef Reacher, on the old Facebook. And then I also run a reel group, REAL Penn, PENN, REELS, Real Penn Reels, on the old facing page. Remember when it used to be MySpace? Am I dating myself? Dating myself. So at any rate, this reel has probably got anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds of drag, the way it sits. And you can get 1.5 miles of line on this thing. So I think that's why they're kind of popular. I didn't look up the gear ratio, but it's got to be like 3 point something, 3.6, 3.8 to 1. And then when you take into account how full the spool of line is, drastically affects your the amount of line you're bringing in per crank. So you know, these are comparable with today's reels. What most guys don't understand is if you got 4-to-1 gear ratio on your fishing reel, that's great if the thing's charging right at you at 90 miles an hour. But if it's a big old grouper down 150 feet, rocked up, that high-speed gear ratio ain't going to do you any good. It's like starting your truck in third gear. But hey, to each their own. That's why they make different reels. This is a new old stock plate, and the rings just aren't wanting to slip over it. I'm kind of being a bull in a china shop and just going around and gradually tightening these to pull it in evenly. It's just the difference in manufacturing in 30 or 40 years. These reels were originally started in the maroon ones were 1958, and they were produced until 2006. So there you have it. These things are just fascinating. But you can see, you know, the size of my hand. That's a pretty cool reel. There you go, guys. Leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks again. God bless.